Well, thank you for all for coming today. And I want to first thank our board chairman, Bob Rothman, and all of the board members that are here today, and really all of our friends and colleagues that has made this happen. I know it's been a lot of effort of a lot of individuals in this room that really have made this a reality for us. You know, Moffitt's growth into a national leader in cancer care and research wouldn't be possible without all the contributions of individuals, businesses, our colleagues on the state level, legislator, and the federal level as well. And we owe a lot of this to strong support from the government, the city of Tampa, Hillsborough County, as well as the state of Florida. I also like to recognize Moffitt's participation in the Innovation Alliance, a partnership focusing on branding and economic development in the north part of Tampa with USF, Florida Hospital, and others. And where we are today, we're sitting in the middle of this 25-mile radius, square miles of the Innovation Alliance. This group is working to develop, obviously, greater advocacy for the area, but really expanding and improving the community. And what we're doing here today, I think, is a big part of launching this forward. You know, the Florida legislature created Moffitt more than 27 years ago as a statute, and state statute, and to serve as really as a state resource for cancer care and research. Each year since then, the state has provided funding towards Moffitt's mission and helped us to grow where we are today. You may not know this, but after 27 years, begun by Lee Moffitt's efforts, this is now the third largest cancer center in the country. It's the only National Cancer Institute comprehensive cancer center in the state of Florida, and it's the biggest. Thank you. And Moffitt with USF is the largest trainer of medical oncologists and oncology providers in the state. You can take all the institutions within Florida combined, and they're less than what we do here at Moffitt. Since then, I can tell you our partnership with the state has flourished. State investments have allowed us to recruit the very best physicians, the very best researchers in the nation. Also have developed some of the new technologies to lead in biomedical research and cancer as well. And the benefits of this, of course, have been to patients and families all throughout, not only this area, but throughout the state of Florida. Moffitt's partnership with the state also has strengthened our state's economy, creating thousands of jobs at Moffitt and also well as in the community. And the expansion that we're beginning today will create more than 600 construction jobs and several hundred permanent jobs when it finishes just 1 year from now. So it's my privilege now to introduce you to the man who started it all, Lee Moffitt.
Thank you. Thank you all, and thank you, Alan. You know, you hit the nail on the head when you said that today's celebration and the groundbreaking that we're here to celebrate is a result of the efforts of a lot of people, many people working very hard for many years together. The Cancer Center was created, you know, we started this, Carol, how many years ago? 30 years ago, our quest to get the Cancer Center built. And I would suggest humbly that it may be one of the great legislative accomplishments of the past 30 years. It's turned into a fabulous institution. Every year that we've gone to the legislature, the state has contributed what it could. So, you know, some years they've been able to give us more than others, but they've never failed to help us grow to become the most respected cancer center and research institute, not only in Florida, but one of the great cancer centers in the world. And I'm so proud of the accomplishments of the doctors and staff and researchers at the Cancer Center for enabling us to get to the point where we are today. We pass another milestone today in our development. Many of those who've worked so hard to get the funding that we've needed over the years are with us today. For example, the bill that passed, giving us the funding for this facility that we're going to break ground on today, was filed by Senator Rhonda Storms in the Senate, who could not be with us today, and Representative Jamie Grant in the House. I especially would like to recognize and thank Representative Grant. His tireless efforts leading the charge for us in the House helped us carry the day. And Jamie, I'd like you to stand up and be recognized. So, real hard work. Of course, there's a lot of people to thank, and I'm not going to recognize Speaker Weatherford, who played a giant role in our success. Congresswoman Kathy Castor will be introduced later. Mayor Bob Buckhorn will be introduced later, and Dr. Armstrong, our Surgeon General, will also be introduced. But I'm going to make a stab at recognizing all of the dignitaries that we have with us today. I know I'll probably mess it up. If I miss somebody, blame Merritt and not me. But, I mean, this is really impressive. First of all, let me recognize Dr. Judy Genshaft, the president of the University of South Carolina. From the local level, we have Commissioner Ken Hagan, I believe, is with us today, Mary Mulhern, Yoli Caprice, Commissioner Councilman Suarez. Are they here? If they are, please raise your hand. Mary, thank you. Along with Jamie Grant, of course, we have representatives from the legislature, Dana Young, Ross Spano, Kathleen Peters, Jake Rayburn, Betty Reed, Janet Cruz, Neil Comby, and I believe that's it. Have I forgotten anybody from the delegation? Thank you all. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for being with us all. They were giants in the fight when we needed support during this last session of the legislature to get this cigarette tax bill passed. We have staff from the offices of Chief Financial Officer Jeff Atwater, Representative Danish, Representative Rollerson, and Senator Jeff Brandes. And from the federal level, we have staffs from the offices of U.S. Senator Marco Rubio, Congressman Bill Young, Congressman Dennis Ross. We've benefited from all of the public servants that have worked so hard for us over the years, and you honor us today with your presence. Thank you so very much. Alan?
Thank you, Lee. As Lee mentioned, we're honored today to have our State Surgeon General here today with us, and that's Dr. John Armstrong. And Dr. Armstrong took this position in April of last year, and he also serves as the Secretary of Health for the state of Florida. Before that, he was the Chief Medical Officer at the Center for Advanced Medical Learning and Simulation, better known to most of us here as CAMLS. I can tell you he's been a strong advocate for cancer care and cancer research here in the state of Florida. He's also a national leader in health policy and has been an advocate of this for at least 20 years, serving as chair of the American Cancer Society delegation to the American Medical Association, House of Delegates, American Cancer Society governor for Florida, and a member of the American Cancer Society Health Policy and Advocacy Group. He's been a real pleasure to work with and an advocate for what we're doing here, and it's a pleasure for me to introduce Dr. Armstrong.
Thank you, Alan, and good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to be here on this historic day. Breaking ground for the McKinley campus is a great step forward for Moffitt and for the state of Florida. Today builds on Moffitt's commitment to cancer care, research, and health education for Florida's families. Our state currently ranks second in the nation for cancer incidence and mortality, with more than 100,000 Floridians newly diagnosed with cancer each year. It is essential that state-of-the-art cancer care, informed by the latest advanced research, be readily available for our patients. This is Moffitt's approach. Each patient treated here on this campus will have the opportunity to participate in groundbreaking research already in place for current patients at Moffitt and partner institutions throughout Florida. Moffitt's research program collects genetic information and clinical data from thousands of patients, and Moffitt scientists use this information to develop new, more effective, and safer cancer treatments that are personalized to each patient's own genes. This breathtaking program represents a powerful health information system that is unique to Florida. As Moffitt's clinical capacity grows, so too will its role as a catalyst for innovations in cancer care and for collaborations among all of Florida's institutions engaged in cancer and biomedical research. Statewide collaboration among our academic and community cancer programs is vital for better outcomes for patients with cancer. Toward this end, yesterday, our governor, Rick Scott, unveiled the Florida Families First budget that aims to infuse $30 million in our state toward a system of cancer care. By promoting statewide clinical protocols, this system of cancer care will make certain that Florida's families affected by cancer receive state-of-the-art care in Florida, and that Florida moves to become the premier end destination for patients with cancer, not only in our nation, but from around the globe. By creating a robust and coordinated statewide research network, this system of cancer care will promote accountability for Florida's biomedical research investment through competitive peer review, focus a research agenda on questions that matter to Florida's families, and attract research dollars into our state. And by synchronizing public and private prevention resources, this system of cancer care will help Florida's families engage in cancer screening and risk reduction activities. I hear Moffitt in all of this. We aspire to make Florida the healthiest state in the nation. Today represents a step in the right direction. Thank you for the opportunity to share in your vision through this wonderful celebration. I look forward to returning for the grand opening in 1 year. Thank you very much. Alan.
Thank you, Dr. Armstrong. That's a bold vision, and we look forward to working with you. You know, it's hard to believe it was just 5 years ago that we were sitting here breaking ground for the M2 building. And now we're starting to begin a new expansion of a $74 million outpatient facility that'll be 8 stories tall and 200,000 square feet. It seems like it's been a long time coming when we see how busy we are on the main campus, but I can tell you it's something that we look forward to an opening just in 1 year from now. But we couldn't have done this without the support of the Florida legislature. I also want to recognize the support of Hillsborough County and the City of Tampa. The land for this campus was donated to Moffitt by the county and the city back in 2006, and we're so grateful to the city and the county to have support for Moffitt's mission all along our course on this property. This facility includes clinics. It will have ambulatory surgery on it. It will have infusion imaging facilities, research dry labs. We'll have clinical research space as well, laboratory space, as well as other patient services, as well as a 1,200 vehicle parking garage. The clinics will include screening services that will be moving from lifetime cancer screening, as well as additional services for the patients. The 4 new ambulatory surgery suites really will support the needs for patients with breast cancer, the cutaneous cancers, melanoma, sarcoma, head and neck, and other cancers as well. The building out of this campus will fill up space on the main campus, which is really sorely needed. Allow us then to build more beds, as well as more operating rooms, and expand what we're doing on the inpatient side on the main campus. We are happy all of you are here today to share in this, and we're particularly pleased that Mayor Bob Buckhorn is here with us today as well. He's been another strong advocate for Moffitt, and I can tell you that every time I hear him speak, I realize how much he appreciates what we do here at Moffitt, and we really thank him for all of his support. So please join me now in welcoming Mayor Buckhorn.
Thank you and good morning. I wish Moffitt had something to treat what I have, but I don't think the flu is part of your bailiwick. But you know, it's hard to imagine that over 20 years ago, with the vision of then Speaker Lee Moffitt, who set out on a course to build a world-class cancer facility that we would be here today. And Speaker Moffitt, this was your vision, this was your baby. You deserve a lot of the credit for this today, and it has been an amazing journey to watch Moffitt grow and mature and become a world-class cancer facility. But we couldn't have done it without a lot of partners, as you indicated. I can remember just last year appearing before our delegation and asking them to help us. And to a person, led by then incoming Speaker Will Weatherford and Jamie Grant, every one of the Democrat, Republicans stood up and said, we understand how important this is for the Bay Area. This isn't a Democrat or Republican issue. It's not a rural, urban issue. It's an issue of providing world-class health care, but it's also an issue of an economic development engine that is one of the largest drivers of our economy in the Bay Area. And every one of them stood up and said, we're going to do whatever we have to, not only to help Moffitt succeed, but to help Moffitt grow. And they went to bat for us. And to me, it was an example of how all of us working together can make a difference. How all of us working together as a Bay Area delegation, as local and state partners, as private sector and public sector, working together for a common goal, for a common vision, can make projects like this happen. This is what the future of our economy looks like right here. Not only are folks going to get world-class cancer treatment, they will be doing world-class research here. And equally as important, they'll be creating the jobs of the future. The jobs, and many of you have heard me speak, everything I do gets back to my 2 little girls. I'm not losing my girls to Charlotte, North Carolina, or to Austin, Texas, or to Raleigh, Durham, because the jobs that warrant the education that my wife and gave them can't be found here. The jobs that are created here at this facility and the jobs that are created at Moffitt Cancer, those are the jobs of the future. Those are the value-added jobs that will allow us to attract the best and the brightest from all over the country and keep our best and brightest kids here. And ultimately, that's what it's all about. We got to create an economy that's sustainable. And create those value-added jobs that create real wealth and real opportunities. This medical cluster, this university, Judy, this Moffitt Cancer Center, the research that takes place here is the blueprint for a great future for the Bay Area. We can't let anybody stop us. We need more of this. We need M2 Gen to be successful. We need this building to be completed. We need that heart center to grow. We need Camels to be successful. Those are what our economy is going to look like in 10 years. We're done building subdivisions for people that don't exist. This is our future. This is our future. Let's not stop. Let's not anybody divide us. Let's keep moving forward. We will never have a better opportunity with Will Weatherford as the Speaker of the House. We're going to get this done, and we're going to do more of it. Because ultimately, when it's all said and done, our responsibility as community leaders, as parents, is to leave this city and this community in better shape than it was given to us. We're doing it with Moffitt. We need more. Let's not stop. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mayor Buckhorn. As always, inspiring words, and we're excited about our future as well as what we can do for the community. We're also pleased to have with us today Congresswoman Kathy Kastner. You won't find a bigger supporter of Moffitt in Washington than the Congresswoman. She's been instrumental in securing federal funding and protecting NIH funding, which is critical to our research mission here at Moffitt, as well as supporting services for older individuals through Medicare and CMS. Please help me welcome Congresswoman Kastner to have a few remarks.
Well, good morning. What a wonderful celebration of progress and hope. And I am so humbled to join all of you, everyone in the Moffitt Cancer Center family. I'm especially honored to join my good friend, the mayor of Tampa, Bob Buckhorn. Bob, you sounded a little bit like a football coach just then. I liked it. I liked it. Mayor Buckhorn has very high expectations for economic opportunity for all of us throughout this community. And the Moffitt Cancer Center, you're absolutely right, is instrumental in that vision. And I'm honored to be here with the Speaker of the House, Will Weatherford. I hope everyone here appreciates his work with Representative Grant, because it was really their commitment in the Florida legislature on the tobacco tax, making sure that that money was used as it was intended for preventative cancer research. They made it happen. And Will, Representative Grant, thank you very much for your outstanding leadership. And Dr. List and all of the great folks at Moffitt. It's terrific to see you all out this morning, but it's especially great to see Lee Moffitt here, who to me has been so inspirational in my public service. I think Lee is to me is something of a godfather. I don't know how else to put it. I've got a father, I've got a stepfather. I think the godfather, and he even has the voice sometimes, doesn't he? But what a great celebration of progress and hope for this community. What it has meant to this community. I've had a terrific vantage point growing up in Tampa, watching Speaker Moffitt, when I was a teenager, serve as the inspirational leader of this community and the establishment of Moffitt Cancer Center. Then later, President Genschaft, watching another president of USF named Castor fight with Lee to have the National Cancer Comprehensive designation given to the Moffitt, which was the key that unlocked many grants and prestige and the ability to attract researchers from across the country. And then now to serve in the Congress and represent a community that has now evolved into one of the health innovation capitals of the country. We now, see, I have a good vantage point being on a committee that oversees the National Cancer Institute, the National Institutes of Health, health policy. I understand the grants now that are coming to this community that, yes, are creating jobs, but are providing a very important lifeline to our families. We now are on par with many health innovation centers across the country, and we're going to catch up with the folks in San Diego. We're going to catch up with the folks in Baltimore and Johns Hopkins and IH. We're going to catch up with the folks at Harvard, in Boston. We are on our way, and they know it. So this has been vital to the economic opportunity in our community, but more importantly, what the Moffitt Cancer Center has meant to the families throughout the Tampa Bay area, the state of Florida, and this great country. The Moffitt now, and what you have done and your commitment to total cancer care, the research being done on the human genome, and what you all are going to be able to do, what you've already done in saving lives and in research will now expand exponentially. And for all of that, I think we can be very grateful. So thank you very much again for including me in this great celebration of progress and hope for the Moffitt, for our community and families across the state. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman Castor. I think we'll have to get Lee a pinky ring now. As I'm sure everyone here knows, that the funding to secure the bonds for this project came from taxes on tobacco here in the state, and I think it's an appropriate use of these funds. As I said before, the funding for this expansion wouldn't have been possible, though, without the support of the legislature, and in particular, the current Speaker of the House, Will Weatherford. Will's been a tireless advocate of Moffitt and we're very thankful for his support, particularly in this project, and I'd like to invite him up to say a few words.
Thank you, Dr. Lisk. Look, I'm so honored to be here. I look out in this room, and it's standing room only. And the reason for that is because of the support that Moffitt Cancer Center has here in Tampa Bay. And, you know, I do want to single out Jamie Grant for another reason. He's being praised today for a bill that he ran and a policy he fought for. But Representative Grant has also had moments in the legislature where he was punished for standing up for Moffitt Cancer Center. And I'm not going to get into the details of that, but my point to you is this is a person who believes in this cancer center. This is a person whose family members have spent time here. And it hasn't always been praise that he's gotten for representing what the Cancer Center does. And he's been a great champion. I appreciate all his efforts in making this happen. So, Jamie, thank you, buddy. We've got a lot of wonderful public servants here in the House and the Senate and on local government. And, you know, again, Speaker Moffitt's been a mentor to me as well. And when things got really tough at the end of session, and they always do, and things are getting negotiated, and the Senate has priorities, and the House has priorities, and this was one of ours, and Jamie and I were in a room with the Speaker, and I said, you know, Speaker, give me some counsel. How do I bring this thing in for a landing with the Appropriations Chairman in the Senate? And he leaned in really close, and he whispered to me, I don't even know, Jamie, I'm not sure if you heard it, he said, make them an offer they can't refuse. So he did. So I echo your comments, Congresswoman, and the Godfather once has struck again. But let me also just say, there are some unsung heroes that are on your staff, Dr. Lisk and Speaker, and Merritt and Jamie, who work day to day fighting for you in Tallahassee and deal with us and the personalities and the egos that come in the Tallahassee politics. They are tireless champions for the Cancer Center. We really appreciate what y'all have done, so thank you very much for your efforts in helping this come to fruition. The most important thing here for me is that our community is going to continue to have a world-class cancer center that is serving our friends, our families, our neighbors, and people that you just see walking down the street. You will see people walking around Tampa Bay that would not have been here if it were not for this investment. How cool is that? How real is that? You know, every day I pinch myself that I get a chance to be Speaker of the House. If you'd have told me 10 years ago I would even be standing here talking to you as the Speaker, I would have never believed you. But it's a tremendous honor, but it's a sacrifice. And 2 weeks ago, I'll give you a quick story, and I'll sit down after that. But 2 weeks ago, I was with my daughters, which Mayor Buckhorn, his daughters have adopted mine. And before I tell you that story, I'll tell you this one. We were with the Buckhorns watching the Gasparilla Parade, the kids' parade, watching the fireworks. And my 2-year-old Molly was laying on top of his daughter Grace on the ground as they looked up and watched the fireworks. And it was just a great moment to remember what's really important in life. And you did sound like a football coach. I was impressed by that, Mayor. But I was getting ready to leave town. It was a Sunday night. The sun was going down. I was trying to teach my 4-year-old how to ride a bike. And she was this close. And the sun was going down, and the street lights were on. I thought, okay, this is getting kind of dangerous. It's time to pack it in. So I told Ella, when Daddy gets back from Tallahassee, we'll finish this, and we'll learn how to ride a bike. So the next day I get a text message from my wife, and it's a YouTube video of my 4-year-old riding around the neighborhood on her bike. She finished the job for me. Now, in my family, that was supposed to be my job, and I obviously failed because my other job took me away. My whole point in telling you that is not to get sympathy. I think every public servant in here has those moments. But the thing is, if we're going to give up that, if we're going to lose those moments with our families, shouldn't it be for stuff that makes a difference? Shouldn't it be for something real? This is real. This is going to affect real people. And this is exactly what government and the private sector and universities and cancer centers should be doing. So I'm honored to have a small part of it. It's going to make a big difference for Tampa Bay. And the good news is we're just getting started. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, he mentioned the impact that we have on patients, and we actually had 2 patients participating in this today. Leonard Hamilton, who sang the national anthem, has been a patient at Moffitt since 2008, yes. And also we have with us today Ron Giovanelli, who's been a patient at Moffitt since 2005. Both of them actually in the malignant hematology program. And Ron, despite his battles with cancer, has been a very active member in our Patient and Family Advisory Council. He's been instrumental in giving us advice on this campus, working with Dean Head, our Vice President of Facilities. And he'd like today to give you his perspective on his experience with Moffitt. Ron?
Thank you, Dr. List. I'd like to thank Moffitt and everyone for inviting me to speak today. I do feel quite lucky. I've been here a patient at Moffitt for 8 years now. I've been in and out of remission 4 times, so that's where the rubber meets the road. All the research, all the programs, they're all very important, but when it's translated to individuals like myself and the gentleman that sang the national anthem, that's where the real outcomes are. Prior to April 2005, I was a healthy, productive engineer. I got my engineering degree here at the University of South Florida. I had a bachelor's and master's. I had a wife, 2 lovely children, and a career. Everything was top of the world. Then I started feeling bad, and I came and I got a diagnosis of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Your world, I can't tell you how your world turns upside down. Everything changes. Everything in your life changes. Whatever was a priority isn't a priority anymore when you get the diagnosis of cancer. Well, I had to make a decision. Where do I go get my cancer treatment? Do I go into the community, which we have a lot of very fine health facilities, St. Joseph's, Tampa General? But with me being a USF graduate and knowing the reputation of Moffitt, there was no decision for me. I came here for my very first visit 8 years ago, and I've never gone any place since. The one thing that was a benefit of coming to Moffitt is the certifications and designations that we have. I, in the last 8 years, have participated in 2 clinical trials. These are medicines and treatments that I would not have been able to get in the outside. So I not only am being able to help myself through these experimental medicines, I'm able to, if they're successful, help others in the future, because you don't get approved treatments without going through clinical trials, and you don't have clinical trials unless you have patients to participate. So that's one of the benefits of Moffitt. I'm happy to say my last treatment was August of last year. I had a bone marrow transplant. I'm recovering from that at this moment, and in last November I was given a diagnosis of remission again. So I'm in my 4th remission. Thank you. And I don't know how long this will last. I hope a long time. But whatever happens, I know that Moffitt will be here for me. We've come a long way in the diagnosis and treatment. We have a long way to go, but this facility here is going to help us get there. And I'd like to thank everyone again, and thank you.
Thank you, Ron. I think that shows you what research can do. It makes a difference for people. And you heard what Ron's experience. Leonard didn't get a chance to talk about his, but I can tell you he's also on experimental medication, on one that was identified to be active in his specific mutations that he has for his cancer. And I can tell you that drug just got approved in the last month by the FDA. So we're down to the finale. We're now ready for the groundbreaking. So if I could ask everyone to go outside.
Hey.